Good day, everybody. So I'm just in the shop here today. I'm going to dye a few traps. This is about half of what I'm going to dye. I've got a whole bunch of other long springs, double long springs and stuff to do yet. But just I only have these few clay traps. Bridger number 3 dogless. I 4-coiled them last year. I got number 2 4-coiled. Bridger number 2 4-coiled that does have a dog. I'm running some Duke number 2s. These MB750s I bought last year, so this will be the second year that I have them. I'm just gonna try and dye one in this first batch and just see what it turns out like. Like I said, I got some double long springs, and I've got, I don't know, a dozen or so number 1 Victors and 5 number 1 Victor stop loss. I see other guys that, I'm using logwood dye, and I see other guys that are running, for their water traps, are running all speed dip, and maybe that's what I should be doing. I have never run speed dip, so I'm not familiar with it, but I'm gonna try and dye these today, see how they turn out. Also running, I just got the 2 Duke number 1s coil springs. I use them for mink drown sets. So my water's just about boiling here. Like I said, I'm using logwood dye, and we'll see if we can't dye a few of these traps today. So we just checked the water here, and it's just starting to boil. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'll turn the heat up just a hair more, I guess. And I'm going to get a batch of traps, and I'll put them in. What I did is I bundled them in my small ones, like my Victors. I bundled them in 5 and 6, so we'll dip them in there. I'll try and fill it up as much as I can here. I just wire them together, run a wire on there, and probably let them sit for 20 minutes and check it out, see where they're at, and then I might give it another 10 if they're not quite ready. So we've been at it for a couple hours now. I've got a lot of the traps dyed right now. I'm just doing some of the long springs and some of the other Dukes. I just pulled my Bridgers out, and they're just kind of hanging and drying. So I've got these Belial Conibears. I bought them new last year. As you can see, they're pretty shiny yet. There's no rust on them. I've got 220s and 280s. I predominantly use them for raccoons and box sets. I do use them also for otter, but I don't trap a lot of otter. I don't even know if I'm going to go after them this year. I kind of like seeing them hang around in the creeks and stuff here. We don't have too many, so I don't want to go after them too hard, I guess. Now, with some of the number 1 Victors that I did, they weren't very rusty. So they did take on color, but they didn't take on color as good as I was hoping, and obviously they won't. My Duke number 1s, the coil springs, they took on lots of color. They were pretty rusty. It did a pretty good job on them. My Bridgers don't look too bad. I'll show you guys all that stuff a little bit later on. These, I don't think they're going to take any color on. There's not much to attach to, I guess. This one's a little bit rusty, but we'll see. I'm going to put them in anyways. I'm going to do these last and just see if it takes any kind of color. I don't expect that it's going to take a whole bunch, but I'm going to try it. So we're still dyeing some traps. I'm doing my Conibears right now. I was going to do them last, but I thought in case I run out of some dye, I want to see if they'll take any while the mixture's a little stronger. I'll do all those long springs. I got 3s and 4s. I'll do them last because I'm probably not going to use a whole bunch of them this year. But so yeah, for these number 1 Victors, they did take on a little bit of color, but not as much as I was hoping. Like you can see, the Duke number 1 turned out real good. Took on a lot of color, nice and dark. the Victor number ones at the stop loss, they took on a little more color than these, but I think I'll have to run them for a season, let them kind of sit outside, get a little more rusty and stuff, just so that maybe they'll take better color next year. I talked to a few guys on a trapping forum, and they suggested for the water traps a lot of guys use speed dip. I have never used it. I've had nothing to do with it, so maybe next year that's what I'll try with these instead of using logwood dye. I'm still going to use logwood dye for my canine sets and stuff like that, and I'm going to try and get my conibears good and rusty so that I can use logwood dye on them. I've done that to my 330s before, and it seemed to turn out pretty good. The Bridger number 3, it seems a little blotchy on top of the jaws, and the number 2 is a little bit blotchy, but like the MB750, it was a little rusty, and it seemed to take color real well, kind of all the way around. It seems to be pretty good. And Duke number 2s, the other ones seem to be pretty good. This one seems to be pretty good. So I'm still trying to dye those. I haven't checked on them here for about 10 minutes, so I'll go have a look at them, and maybe I'll try and show you that once I pull them out. Well, here's the end result of dyeing them. I didn't think they would take on any color. I'm surprised actually how much color these took on. Granted, it's not going to hold up, and I know that. I just figured I'd give it a whirl. So I have a few more of those long springs that I'm just doing now. I'm going to finish up, and then these I want to wax, but that'll be another day. I'm going to hang out with Mom and the kids for the rest of the day once this last batch is done. But I just wanted to kind of show you the difference. Obviously these didn't take on, this one especially didn't take on any color really. It's tinted a little bit, but I don't think it's really going to hold up very much. The 220s took on a little more color, so I'll have to see, give them a season or two just to get weathered a little bit, rusted up a little bit, and they will take the color better. So okay guys, well, thanks again for tuning in and coming along. Until the next time.